AskReddit by Jazz Likes Winner 504. What's the craziest thing your ex did and lied they didn't? Cheated. Which doesn't sound crazy until you learn that she tried to accuse Emmy of cheating on her because she tested positive for a common STD shortly after we broke up. I tested clean. My ex-wife claimed she didn't cheat on me. She had a whole ass boyfriend who she was saying she loved and wanted to have a baby with. She still rationalizes it to this day. Stole my college ID, then logged into my internet profile and submitted a cancellation of inscription to my program. She was stopped when she went to send the form as she needed to print it and sign it at the desk. I was notified by the college when they noticed it was a woman attempting to fill a formulary and not me, a man. They thought I was lazy and asked my GF to do it. This was her way to get revenge on me after breaking up with her once I found out she cheated and her parents encouraged her to. I am an ethnicity they did not like, unlike the other guy. I confronted her, she denied it. I submitted a report to the police and college, but nothing came out of it. It was a while ago. And we have winner. My ex-wife is Ukrainian. I was in Ukraine and we were still in the dating phase. We went to a cafe and the waitress was happy to practice her English skills with us. She wasn't flirting or doing anything bad. My ex-wife complained and got her fired behind my back. Felt so bad for that girl. I'm curious, why did you move from the dating phase to the married one after that big of a red flag? That he bought an engagement ring from Walmart but got robbed at gunpoint when he went to buy drugs. He had no receipt. He still swore years later that this happened. I've bought many engagement rings at Walmart and never bothered to get a receipt. Nothing unusual there, Mo. However, I usually get robbed when I'm selling drugs, which is obviously worse. Are you two still married? I was her third husband. She talked about how her and I were special and she felt comfortable taking her spouse's, my, last name for the first time. I was flattered until I saw her passport with her ex's last name. To this day I still don't know why she lied about that. My ex was always like, you just feel so different to my exes, like you're the one, and I was of course gullible enough to believe it. She cheated in every partner she's ever had, including me and the one that came after me. She also said the same to guy that came after me. Bundle of fun, that one. Told me it was so refreshing and actually trauma healing to be with someone who trusted them enough to not be paranoid, checking phones, etc. And X200B. I should have been paranoid. Yo, isn't this the truth? Had someone ask me, are you jealous? I was like, nope. Should have followed up with the same question. Cause boy was he jealous. And manipulative. And narcissistic. And paranoid. Stay safe out there. Back in 2018-19 we were both in the army at the time in different states. He told me about a week or so before that he had a field exercise coming up. The week of the field exercise came and he told me he wouldn't have a lot of time to talk and service would be super spotty, which is not out of the normal. He texted me here and there, even sent pictures of him in the woods. 2 days later I get a call from a friend saying he was out his ex-girlfriend. He flew her out to see him, blocked me and all our mutual friends on social media, and was literally booed up eating fucking pizza on Snapchat. I went back to the pictures he sent of the woods, saved them to my phone to check the date, and they were all old. I absolutely lost my shit, and when I called him out on it and presented the evidence he continued to lie, trying to convince me that I was the delusional one. A few months ago he spoke to a mutual friend of ours saying how he regrets what he did and wanted to reach out to me to fix things. He found my Instagram and tried to follow me, but I'm private. I deleted his request because fuck him. Filmed me while I was showering. Would watch me on the baby monitor while I was in bed and he was downstairs. Would film me while I was asleep, my feet as well as up my nightgown. We had already broken up and he came over to pick up our toddler and I saw him taking up skirt photos of me. I literally froze and didn't say anything. I felt so used. Reported to the police. This has to be some kind of illegal. He cheated, lied that he didn't, and then his own friend sent me screenshots of his conversation with them where he talked about having cheated. That friend was a real one. Good on them honestly. The classic you wanna break up? I'm pregnant with your baby. Oh yeah, psych. Kelly moment. Hit me, tried to stop me from breathing. Later he told me he didn't do it, and asked me to be my partner again. Oh yes. Mine didn't hit me or tackle me to the floor, he moved me out of his way and I fell down in the process. When you live with an alcoholic, you eventually start finding their hidden bottles and cans, before or after the fact. I once found an empty can of beer, which I don't drink, stuffed inside my toiletries bag in a bathroom drawer. He obviously forgot to dispose of it after drinking in the shower. He actually tried to deny it, but I think even he realized there was no possible other explanation. I remember pulling out empty vodka bottle after empty vodka bottle from under her side of the bed. Then after we separated and I was cleaning out the house to sell it, I found another stash of empty vodka bottles in her desk she worked from. It was pretty ridiculous how much alcohol she would drink. She'd punch me repeatedly in the face and then accuse me of abuse because her hands were fucked up. It's been years since I finally kicked her out, but I still keep my hair short enough that no one can grab it. Deleted. Not my story, but a close friend of mine finished med school a year ahead of her husband. She moved to the East Coast for her residency, while he was finishing up his studies the following year. Things got weird. She flew one stroke two across the county to confront him at their apartment which someone else was living in. Turns out he dropped out of college and moved to Montana to become a firefighter with his gay lover. Obviously, they got divorced. Cheated on me with a 14-year-old girl. He was 20 at the time. I found their messages between each other and AMP. I even messaged the girl telling her she got groomed and AMP explained why it's wrong and AMP creepy. She didn't care, she said she didn't want to make a big deal because her parents would find out she's active. I hope you turned him into the police. Mine rang me bawling that his parents had kicked him out and he needed to move in with me. This was after months of crazy shit, so I hung up and dialed his home number. He picked up and quickly pretended to be his dad, corroborating his story. Pathetic. This one is so dumb that it's hilarious. Got another woman pregnant. My ex messaged me from a made up account saying, I know you cheated on your girlfriend and I'm have proof and I'm going to tell her in 2 days if you don't. I never cheated and just messaged the account back saying, alright babe, this has gone too far. He almost killed me, and despite being bruised for weeks with life-changing injuries, lied that he didn't do it. He got away with it. Opposite, he didn't do it and lied that he did. He cheated, I dumped him and moved 1,000 miles away. He somehow got my number and called crying. Told me he got into a gunfight and killed somebody and the police were looking for him. Begged me to let him come hide with me. For clarification, I was a grad student with nothing worse than a pile of textbooks under my bed and ex had never been involved in criminal activities, to my knowledge. I went straight to the police station. I ended up being interviewed about an unsolved murder. It wasn't related, and learned the truth. My ex's neighbor had been shot and the idiot ex thought it sounded like a good story to get back into my life. You can't make up this level of stupid. Cheated on me. When I found a pair of used women's panties in his car and a bag of goodies from the adult store in the glove box. But he only gave her a ride and had no idea how that got there, and the bag of goodies was for us. And I was a bad person for doubting his character. If you're reading this, Pete, you're still a pose and you always will be. Said they didn't cheat on me with their friend on Easter Sunday. Was their friend Jesus? I'll preface this with the fact that I know now that I wasn't happy. We lacked communication, stressed and damp, not the greatest husband emotionally. I'm content on being single for the rest of my life. After the third child, I wasn't sure about a fourth yet. She said she was on birth control, but she wasn't and damp, was actually taking medication to increase the chance of pregnancy. When she got pregnant, she admitted what she did, had fourth. I lost all trust, was emotionally disconnected like sleeping with a complete stranger, now divorced and amp, I'm paying child support. Edit fourth. Fourth has nothing to do with four. Purposely stopped taking birth control about a week before a pre-planned long weekend of antics. I trusted her, that was my mistake. She knew I didn't want kids, and we were both teenagers still, so way too young. Lied about it saying she was still on it and would give me stats and send links etc about the small chances of failure in the contraception. Only to admit she purposely stopped using birth control altogether specifically for that weekend about 6 months into the pregnancy. So anyway, I have a 10-year-old son now that I wouldn't take back for the world, but the deceit of the conception and my trust still lingers. Still with her? Came after me with a kitchen knife.